We are actually recording this on July 22nd, and this is actually the birthday, the 110th birthday of Ruthie Thompson. Ruthie Thompson used to work at Walt Disney, and we wish her a happy birthday. And if you don't know who she is, check out Mindy Johnson's ink and paint book, The Amazing Women of Walt Disney Animation. She's in there along with others. And here's one of my guests right now, Ron Clements.
I haven't done Zoom that much. It somehow seems a little different, but I do have.
Oh, yes. So we can talk on these now, right?
We could talk on our communicators. Yes, I got this as a birthday present. Oh, gee.
So you can see it. Oh, yes.
Oh, cool.
Looks like a tricorder reading here. Yes, you are actually Ron Clements. I'm sorry. I just sometimes have to do that now, you know.
No, that's good. That's good. Yeah, John always gives me a hard time about being a Star Trek geek, and I'm really not, but I do have a lot of Star Trek stuff.
But you guys were on the Annecy festival, and you guys went over a lot of stuff that, you know, probably I won't even get to go over, but I want to let everybody know that if they want to check out that video on YouTube, it's a long title, but it's through Annecy and Asifa Hollywood, and you guys gave a great talk about what you guys did. So there you. Hi John, can you hear me okay?
Yeah. My wife is vacuuming in the other room. I shut the door. We'll see.
Okay.
It'll be like a little episode of the Flintstones here.
Yeah. I might have a cat that likes to knock on our door and come in and knock things over. So, just
the cat is supposed to be muted.
Yeah. Well, we got the older model, so he doesn't really have that on him anymore. Right. But, what can he do? Is the cat
wearing a mask?
No. Actually, no, he's not. He should. He's got a big fluffy tail. He usually
well, that could work, I would think.
Oh yeah, and we were geeking out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, where's yours, John?
What's he holding up? I don't even see. I can't see it. I'm on the speaker view. Maybe I should be on the gallery view.
Yes, this is how we'll communicate.
Oh, see, I didn't even realize what I was looking at. I've never really watched an episode of Star Trek, so
that's what John claims. Never to have seen an episode.
It's somewhat true. I think I did watch. I saw one of the movies, and I saw parts of a number of episodes. But to sit down and actually watch one all the way through, I don't think I ever have done that.
Wow, that's amazing. Because
I am a science fiction fan. I like good science fiction. Star Trek, I just never. I didn't like when I saw it. What little bit I saw on TV, it didn't appeal to me.
Okay.
As a kid,
Okay.
I liked Lost in Space, which other people would be like, "What?" But I mean,
I watched Lost in Space, but Lost in Space was for kids.
Yeah,
Star Trek actually was an adult show, at least when it started.
Yeah, maybe it was too hip for me. It was too sophisticated. That
probably,
with all the girls in the, right.
Oh yeah. I did get for Father's Day from my granddaughter. I got a Trouble with Tribbles little golden book. There's actually a little golden book of the Trouble with Tribbles.
Wow. Sorry to hear she's indulging your, fetish.
She's only 4.
I know, and she knows you're a Trekkie. That's great. She's hip to you. Yeah. This is our Comic-Con, so it better be good, Jim. I was expecting you would be dressed as a superhero, Jim, so that we could really.
Well, I do have this. I don't know.
What is it? Let's see. Oh, it's the strange mixture of John Cleese and the Karate Kid.
Okay. That's it. Yep.
Minister of silly movie references there.
In fact, a little Disney trivia. We for The Great Mouse Detective, which was Basil and Baker Street for most of the time that we worked on it. Our first thought for Basil was John Cleese.
Oh.
But at that time, we couldn't actually make contact with him. It seemed like, I don't know if he would have been interested or not, but all we heard was, no, but I don't know if he even knew about it.
Yeah, we figured he's played Basil once, he could do it again, but it did not pan out for us. We love Barry Ingham, who ultimately wound up doing it, but John Cleese was our first thought, yes. And I was a big fan of Monty Python and the Goon shows before that, which Monty Python was really riffing on in a way with Peter Sellers and Harry Seacombe and Spike Milligan, the radio show and all that. So yes, we were disappointed when we couldn't seem to make any. Although I thought he actually turned it down. That was my recollection.
Well, maybe that, I can't even remember, but I guess he turned it down. But it somehow seemed to me we weren't actually sure that he really knew
We
about
weren't
it.
sure, but I think we got the bio. It's like animation. Good call. You know, that's
Yes, but sometimes at that time, sometimes the agents would just throw it away, and it would never get to the actual actor because we weren't taken real seriously.
Ron has the B. Arthur story, which is true. That when we wrote her name in the script for Little Mermaid for Ursula, that she had a B. Arthur type basso voice because we loved B. Arthur's low register and all that. And Ron definitely thought B. Arthur could be the witch, and so we tried to get her, get in contact with her. But her agent was so incensed at the script saying that this witch was B. Arthur, and in whatever
Sounded like B. Arthur.
it sounded like B. Arthur, that she refused to even give her the script. So we never were able to even contact B. Arthur, get past her agent, whoever her agent is. I don't know if she's still around. If you're still around, lady, you cost that woman a job. But we love Pat Carroll again.
Pat Carroll did great, so
Oh,
so
yeah.
it works out. It works out.
Celebrating Robin. But yeah, I feel very, with it being his birthday or the day after his birthday. And I have my genie watch here, my Robin.
Ooh, nice.
Except I'd have to break my arm to really show it to you correctly. But anyway, Robin, we have infinite number of fond memories of Robin and his great talent and his, just how much he loved the project and was willing to do anything for it pretty much. And just his skill and his menschiness, he just was a great guy.
Yeah, really, really good guy. Aside from all of his talent, just seemed like a really, really good guy.
Yeah, it's a tragedy what happened. Yeah.
So, some comedians are kind of always on, when they're in public or when you're with them. Was there any time where he just kind of, hey, thanks guys, I really appreciate it, blah, 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 just kind of.
No, he wasn't on all the time. In fact, the first time we met him, we were pitching the movie to him, and we showed him a little test that Eric Goldberg had done to a track of his and various things. But I would say he was kind of quiet, almost on the shy side, but he was taking everything in and definitely very, very interested. But he wasn't on. He wasn't performing. I think we definitely saw those two sides. Even when he did perform, it took him almost a little bit to warm up. We wrote the script with Robin in mind, and kind of wrote it, for him in his vernacular, but we also wrote it with the idea he's going to improv the heck out of this. But always, when we recorded, we would record the script as written the first 2 or 3 times, and he did a great job. But you could tell he was like just a little subdued. But I always described him that he was kind of like Flubber, that his energy seemed exponential. That the more he would do it, he'd get bigger and bigger, and he worked so hard, and it would be, and we did lots and lots of takes, and he loved that. And there would be things where we would say, we've got plenty, we've covered this all over the place, and I got another idea, and he'd keep going beyond us, and we have literally hours and hours of recordings of Robin just playing with it, and all kinds of variations. There's some of that is on one of the Blu-rays, although nobody has Blu-rays anymore. I don't know. I guess it's probably on YouTube. But we did a thing taking a lot of his outtakes with Eric Goldberg, putting that together, and Eric did poses to go with that, and it's pretty fun to watch. A little behind the scenes of stuff that didn't make it into Aladdin, but it was still really funny. Really hilarious.
When we were doing the Black Cauldron, I was a director on that movie for about 2 minutes. I didn't last very long, but during my time on it, Jonathan Winters came into audition. Jonathan Winters, who is Robin's idol and all that, and I loved his comedy as well. And I sort of bumped into him in the animation building, and he was looking for the recording studio, but he didn't quite know where it was. But this was the opposite of Robin in a way, because he was sort of doing a comedy routine to me, even though he really needed to find out where this recording stage was. He's like, is this a hospital? Yeah, I think there's a hospital, right? And he didn't say, I'm Jonathan Winters and I'm looking for a recording stage. He eventually sort of got around to that, but he was playing a character and doing the whole thing. And I mean, I think Jonathan Winters, had issues with, mental health and things like that a little bit. I loved his humor, and it was literally, I think, one of my favorite days at the studio because he was so funny. It was a crazy irony thing because, I sort of got kicked off the movie because I wasn't really agreeing with the other directors, and they hired Jonathan Winters to be the King Idleday, the king of the fair folk. But they decided during production at some point that they didn't want to use him, and they never told him. So the story I've heard, I don't know if it's apocryphal or not, was that he came to the premiere only to discover that he was no longer in the movie. And that made him that much crazier. I don't know. But
so actually, so you got kicked off the movie, I got kicked off the movie, and Jonathan Winters got kicked off the movie.
we have something in common with a great man, Jonathan Winters, yes.
Yeah.
Jonathan Winters lived right in Toluca Lake, so I would hear stories about him going into Bob's Big Boy or something like that and just, doing an hour's material, sitting at the counter while he's eating his dinner, and stuff. It was a compulsion with him, I think. It was sort of his way of dealing with the world. But Robin wasn't like that, as Ron said. Robin came in and he would be quiet and just sort of musing about it and then get revved up and do his thing. But it wasn't like he was, that way every minute of the day when we saw him. He was not.
I haven't seen the new Aladdin. I don't want to ever see the new Aladdin because I feel like it's already been made, and you guys made it, and you got Robin Williams in there, and you can't replace Robin Williams with anybody else but him. How do you feel about seeing all the new Disney films, all the classics turning into CG or live action films?
Yeah, I'm sort of okay with it. I hope they're good. I did see Aladdin, and I thought it was pretty good. It's kind of weird. It's definitely a weird feeling. I know they're doing Mermaid. I know Rob Marshall, a really good director, that they're doing Mermaid. If they start filming again, I don't know what's going on with that. They're talking about doing Hercules. It's interesting. We are not involved with those projects. And it's interesting to see them kind of reinvented by other people. I mean, there's sort of a thing, most of the films we've done, not all, but most of them have been adaptations of other people's work in a way. Hans Christian Andersen's Little Mermaid is a little different than ours, and Robert Louis Stevenson, others. So it's somebody else kind of reinterpreting our material, but like I say, it's okay, but I think some turn out better than others.
We have read that, the Russo brothers who did the Avengers, and seem like very sharp, very talented guys, are going to be spearheading a Hercules live action adaptation. I don't know if it'll really happen, but I think they're good filmmakers, so I'm curious to see what they come up with, and who knows, maybe it'll be good.
I'm certainly happy that there's interest in this material. I think when we made those movies, you have no idea if they're going to stick around or not. And it's cool that years and years later that they stick around. People know them. People now, grown up people who grew up on those movies, that they know them and they like them, and I think that's kind of cool, and that's something I necessarily anticipated or expected at all.
So John, you said that you kind of are, do a lot of caricatures of people.
Yes, I was a fan of all sorts of different cartooning. I liked editorial cartoonists like Pat Oliphant and Don Wright of the Miami Herald and people like that. And I liked Ronald Searle, and I liked certainly all the Disney stuff and the Warner Brothers stuff. And I liked comic books. I was a huge fan of Jack Kirby and Steve Ditko and people like that. And comic strips, I loved Leonard Starr's On Stage, and Alex Kotsky, who drew Apartment 3G. And but there's just a whole ton of artists, and then caricaturists like Gerald Scarfe. And I really came to Al Hirschfeld later, actually through Dan Haskett. He was a great caricaturist. I didn't grow up reading the New York Times, and all that. So I knew more of the Hirschfeld knockoffs. Were not as good as Hirschfeld was, but when through Dan Haskett I learned about Hirschfeld, he's just the most brilliant draftsman, one of the most brilliant ever.
I mean, I didn't know about as many. I wasn't as into it as much, but Mad Magazine and Mort Trucker and Jack Davis were kind of the I kept trying to draw like Jack Davis.
Yeah, I wasn't as big on Jack Davis, but Mark Drucker I loved, and I got to meet him. It was a thrill. I can tell you a story again. Maybe this will all get edited out, but the great Al Jaffe, who did the fold-ins, you know, on the back of Mad magazines. I was a fan of those fold-in pages and all that. And it was maybe a year ago or 6 months ago, David Cowles, the great caricaturist, did a caricature of Al Jaffe that he put online on Facebook. And I said to David, I love this caricature. Can you do it as a fold-in? Can you make it work as a fold-in in honor of Al Jaffe? And he said, you know, it's like I got other things to do. It's a fun idea. So I went ahead and did it. I actually took his caricature and turned it into a fold-in. And then just, you know, like a month or whatever ago or 2 months ago, I saw Al Jaffe retired from Mad Magazine at the age of 99.
Really?
Still alive, still lives in New York, was still doing stuff for Mad, 99 years old, and he's retiring. So I'm like, I should do it. So I made a print of this Al Jaffe fold-in that I did. And through Chad Fry, I got Al Jaffe's address in New York. He taught for years at the School of Visual Arts there, I think, in addition to his Mad magazines. Anyway, I sent it to this apartment, you know, to his apartment. Chad said that maybe Al's wife died a few years ago. I forgot to include my email, so I thought after I sent it off to you, I'll never know if he ever got this or anything like that. But oh well, I sent him a sort of a thank you note for all the great years he'd done in Mad Magazine. I said, this is my little tribute to you. I took David Cowles' thing and I did the thing, yada, yada. So just like 2 days ago, I got a package in the mail. So here's the package I got from Al. Isn't this one? So
Wow.
Al Jaffe, New York. And then so he gave me this lovely note in there that was typewritten with his little stamped caricature at the bottom. Just a note said, thank you so much for your lovely fold-in. I appreciated it so much. You are very talented, and I am flattered that you took so much time to make this for me. I have framed it, and I enjoy it a lot. It meant so much for me to receive. I hope that you stay safe during this unprecedented time. I'm so sorry that this is typed, but it's difficult for me to write at this time. Please enjoy this special edition signed by me for the special piece of art you made for me. Sincerely yours, Al Jaffe. And he sent me right on this. This is dated August of 2020, so it's sort of here, but Al Jaffe signed this all Al Jaffe issue of Mad Magazine for me. Wow. So I am thrilled. I can't tell you how thrilled I am. Yeah. And you know, it's got fold-ins. He even wrote, you know, some parodies. He wrote the Bullet parody that Mark Drucker drew. Al Jaffe actually wrote it. So there's some Mark Drucker in here as well. But yes, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Mad Magazine. That was very, you know, Sergio Aragones, the whole thing, and everybody in there, Jack Rickard and Jack Davis and Mort and Al and all those guys.
Mort Drucker came to the studio and gave a lecture and got his autograph and that was cool.
Yeah, and he just passed away this year too. You know, Mort. It's just a shame. But anyway, yes, great, huge fan of Mad Magazine.
Yeah, at one point I thought I wanted to be the next Mort Drucker, although I thought about it and it seemed like there's got to be a limited amount of jobs for the next Mort Drucker. I mean, there's Mad Magazine and maybe there was Cracked Magazine, which and then what? So it seemed like that could kind of narrow your options.
You let practicality interfere with your dream? What kind of approach is that?
I don't know.
Here's little Ron in Sioux City, Iowa. Oh, I would so much give to be the next Mort Drucker, but there just aren't enough opportunities for that. Nah, forget it.
Could have been.
I got the Jack Marco book of cartoons. Did you guys get that? Jack Marco?
How-to book?
Panel cartoonists. And
well, you know, my story on that is because
Jack Marco? I can't remember.
As a kid, I did a lot of panel cartoons, and I would send them to magazines, and I would always get rejections.
Like what magazines, for example?
Well, I mean, I did send some to Playboy, and but just all kinds of different magazines, Parade, or whatever. I didn't do the New Yorker, but someplace I sent. They, instead of sending me back a rejection slip, they sent me an ad for that Jack Marco book, and I sent for the Jack Marco book, so I got it.
I only had it from the library again, 741.5. Yeah.
Wow, that's impressive. You still remember that Dewey Decimal System?
That's the only number in the Dewey Decimal System.
John's wife was a librarian, and
yes. That was like, yeah, did you ever see like, in Diner where the wife had to learn the football scores? I had to learn the Dewey Decimal System in order for her to marry me.
Ah, to
She
prove.
quizzed me on it, 200s of history, the 300. I went all through the 900 numbers, yeah.
So there was a quiz before you got
There
married,
was a quiz before she would agree to consent
right,
to marry me, and I had to work my way through the Dewey Decimal System, as it were. That's the
right.
thing with kids today. They don't know, there's a card catalog. You don't even know how to use a card catalog. I'm telling you. Oh boy. But then again, hey, do I know how to use TikTok? No, I do not.
Do I know how to use a cell phone?
No.